Okay, welcome everyone. This is going to be a legacy video for my YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be playing Goblins. But this is nothing like the Goblins deck that we have known, like historically, Goblin Lackey, Rishadan Ports, Wasteland, Ringleader, I guess we have, War Chief, Pile Driver, stuff like that, right? So this is more like a Stompy deck. So it has the Stompy mana base of 8 Soul Lands and 8 0-mana Accelerants. Little gemstone mine thrown in here on top of it. And basically what makes the deck tick is this new card called Name Sticker Goblin. So the way this works on Magic Online is it's basically a probability card where you're either going to get 4 mana, 5 mana, or 6 mana when you cast it and it doesn't die in response. Which is an important interaction that we're going to have to look out for. So with this mana explosion, what can you do? Mainly, this deck is looking to cheat out Muxus, Goblin Grandee, 6 mana Goblin. When Muxus enters the battlefield, reveal top 6. Put all Goblin creatures cards with mana value 5 or less from among those in a play, and the rest on the bottom of your library. So that basically means you're digging for goblins that isn't named Muxus, and then when it attacks, it gets +1/+1 for each other goblin you control. So basically, the goal is to build a board your opponent cannot come back from, and kind of cruise into the sunset from there. Another cool addition is the Battlecry Goblin. On surface, doesn't look like very impressive. 2 mana, 2/2 Goblin. For 2 mana, you can give your whole team haste, which is pretty awesome. And then it has the Pack Tactics, which gives you a little bit more attacking power. So this deck will have like combo-ish finishes where you go, Sticker Goblin, cast Muxus, hit another Sticker Goblin, hit a Battlecry Goblin, give your team haste and attack. This deck has, aside from the Ringleaders that I briefly touched upon, which is basically like your grindy element. Ringleader is just a Goblin draw spell, good against removal spells, good at grinding out fair matchups. And we have a slew of 3-drops. So let's start with these 8 guys. Goblin Rebel Master and Legion War Boss. It's basically just, let's build critical mass and kill our opponent. These cards, if they don't get killed on sight, they leave behind bodies, and those bodies can get the job done in a more scrappy game, I would call it. Then we have the Matron. Matron is basically your consistency card. Sometimes it goes and it's like your Sticker Goblin 5/8. Sometimes it goes and gets Muxus. Sometimes it gets a Ringleader for grind. Awesome addition. And then we have this semi-new card, Broadside Bombardier. I played it in Mono Red Prison previously on the channel, and the card is just really impressive. I even think I missed lethal in one of those videos, like where I could have Furied on my second main phase, respond to the Evoke, deal 7. I failed to do that, so let's see if we can play better today with the Bombardier. 3 mana, 2/2 Menace, and it has Boast, which means whenever you just attack with this creature, so this can be before blockers even, you can sacrifice another creature or artifact, and then you're dealing damage equal to that card's converted mana cost, +2. So let's say you sack a Ringleader, that's 6 damage. You can clear a blocker, you can attack, target your opponent's face. So yeah, just a lot of like aggressive ways to push through damage and build board states your opponent can't come back from. That's basically the name of the game. The sideboard, we have anti-Graveyard Hate, we have anti-Small Creatures and Fury, we have a single Trash Master here against artifacts, which, alongside the 4 Matrons, will, that's how we have access to it. Then we have Quad Magus of the Moon against unfair land strategies, Merit Lage, Urza Saga, greedy mana bases, you know the drill on that one. And then we have Thorn of Amethyst, which is basically a slot that, it could be Chalice, it could be Mindbreak Trap, but at the end of the day, having Thorn of Amethyst is going to be, let's say, you're going to board it in the most out of the cards I just mentioned. It's not going to be the best one against any specific deck, but it's serviceable against like Storm, Reanimator, Show and Tell, all kinds of different combo decks, right? Where the other cards are way more specific. Okay, that'll do it for the deck tech. We'll join a Legacy League, and then let's get to some games. Okay, round 1 is upon us. Let's see what we can do here on the play. This looks like a great hand without having studied it in depth. So let's see, we have turn 1, Chromox, pitch Shadow Skull Smashing, play City of Traders, play like Rabble Master. Okay, so we have turn 1 Rabble Master. Alternatively, we can go turn 1 Matron, turn 2 Sticker Goblin, but I don't see the need for that right now. We even have Ringleader for refill, but then we get into a situation where we most likely lose our City of Traders. There is a case that I'm supposed to go turn 1, like, Cavern on Goblins, or tap Smashing, and then try and play from there and keep my city around. But I think I'll be fine. Let's go Chrome Mox. My opponent mulliganed, which is worth taking note of. Then I try and get the Rabble Master going. Attack for 1. Like, Rebel Master is a must answer in a lot of cases. Oh, never mind. I'm losing turn 1. Fair enough. So I'm playing against Oops All Spells. Yeah, I mean, that works. That is not the best matchup in the world I can imagine. So my opponent went land, which is not really a land when you're, like, digging through your deck. Petal, Dark Ritual, Black Combo Piece. Mills over the entire deck. Dread Returns. Thassa's Oracle. GG's. Okay. So sometimes that's the name of the game in Legacy. I'm gonna be boarding in these 7. So now it becomes kind of tricky, because if I don't have any of these 7, none of what I'm doing is gonna matter. So maybe this is a case where a card like Ringleader is not that good. Like, that card is not winning games fast. Let's see, what else isn't winning the game fast? Maybe you can board out the Gemstone Mine. I'll try and do that. Maybe it's just a couple of Muxus, really. Like, let's say I mulligan because I need to find a Leyline or Thorn, then it's going to be hard to get to 6 mana. I'll try this out. Oops All Spells. Very nasty surprise. That's definitely a bad matchup of this deck, I can imagine. So, yeah, funnily enough, let's say I was against any kind of fair deck, I could go Sticker Goblin, Rebel Master, turn 1, and that would just win the game a lot of the time. But since I'm up against Oops All Spells, I just can't keep that hand. Yeah, this is a lot better. I'm gonna bottom the City of Traders. And I'm gonna begin the game with a Leyline in play. Then I go turn 2, Sticker Goblin, Rabble Master, or I guess everything. Sticker Goblin, Rabble Master. So I don't think I can ask for anything better against Oops All Spells. So now my opponent's on a mold of 5. It's gonna be very tough to, deal with Leyline and win the game. But it is possible. Also, my opponent could have sideboarded into Goblin Charbelcher and like circumvent the Leyline entirely. Okay, let's try and resolve Sticker Goblin for the first time. Enters 4 mana. Another one, 6 mana. Unfortunately, I only have a Rabble Master. I get in for 1, and then next turn, how much damage is it? It's 7 on the surface, 8 with the one I'm creating. 8 plus 2, so 8 plus 4. I think I deal 12 next time. And then my opponent has to beat me, which is going to be hard. Okay, even with the Thorn being drawn here, that's not going to make it easier for the opponent. Thorn of Amethyst, and then attack for 12, and yeah, just make my opponent beat me, I guess. I wonder if Oops All Spells has Force of Vigor, and how big the green count is. You have the land. I'm not sure which other green cards you have. You have Spirit Guides. Yeah, I'm not too sure about that. Okay, so now my opponent knows about Leyline, but what can they really do about that? Like, they will probably have to keep any turn 1 hand, right? And I can't keep a hand without Leyline. There's something to be said about having a Trash Master in the deck over one copy of Muxus, I think. So let's try that out. We can also get into a sub-game of, let's say, my opponent is going to keep just about anything because they expect to fight through the leyline. And that gives me time to go Thorn, but... Yeah, I'm gonna mulligan here. Okay, I'm lucky to see another leyline. My opponent keeps. So let's see. I think I'm supposed to bottom a Battle Cry Goblin. Is that correct? Yeah, because I'm imprinting one for Chrome. Well, maybe I'm imprinting for Chrome Mox, I guess. Okay, so no, yeah, okay. I'll get rid of a Battlecry Goblin because I think having the Sticker Goblin is more important, but let's see. And I'm gonna go turn one Thorn. Like I'm gonna imprint, and then I'm gonna go Thorn. Realizing I'm getting like completely blown out by Force of Vigor, but I think that's how it is. And then plays out Pedal, which is a heads-up play against the Thorn. Okay. Now I'm kind of scared. Okay. So I think I'm supposed to go Chrome Mox, imprint, Smashing now. There's a chance I get Vigored here. That didn't happen. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm just supposed to lay out my stuff here. 8 mana. And nowhere to go. Okay, so we're kind of just asking our opponent to beat Leyline of the Void and a Thorn. Which is, like, very doable. It's like one Ritual and a Charbelcher, right? But this is what I can do. So something to note is the opponent can buy a lot of time if they manage to resolve one of their combo creatures, because that card is a 2/3. So we're going to need some like Rabble Master or Legion Warboss to power through that. End of turn Force of Vigor. Love it. Here comes the creature. So my opponent just needs a mana source, and there you go. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's like what can happen sometimes. Your opponent needs to put together Force of Vigor, green card, and 4 mana sources to combo off. And if that happens before I, deal them 20, I lose the game. So, yeah, I would imagine Oops All Spells is not a good matchup. We kind of showcased there how Leyline can win games. Game 1, I'm really not favored. Then we can kind of steal a game, and then we have to beat the odds for game 3. Didn't happen. I'll try again. See you guys for the next round. Okay, we're on to the next round, looking to get redemption from getting a good old stomping by Oops All Spells. We're on the play here with the Goblins. Let's see. This hand is a bit different. If I go... Like, we can try and high roll a little bit here. No, I don't... on second thought, I don't want to high roll. I want to play turn 2 Matron for Sticker Goblin, and then try and go for the Muxus. The other play would be turn 1 Matron off of Ancient Tomb Spirit Guide. Then I play land, play Sticker Goblin, and I have to hit a 6. Or, well, not a 6, but I have to hit a, 6 mana. I'm not sure I like that. Well, if we kind of flood out, maybe I want that smashing. I'm fine going Mountain Go here. Opponent's on a single mulligan. Let's see if we get oopsed. Oops. I thought about like a Britney Spears song. Oops, I did it again. Let's not listen to that song. Hope you're having an awesome day. a bit better day than I'm having after getting smoked by Oops All Spells. But I'll come back. I'll come back stronger. Chromox, kind of bad news. Is this a mirror? Goblin Matron, baby. Okay. The Bombardier is here. Okay, so the mirror match. I mean, I have the Furies in the sideboard, but aside from that, I'm really not sure. Whoa, we draw Sticker Goblin. Okay. So, I guess let's not get 4 mana from our Sticker Goblin. 5 mana. Okay. So now, this is my first time resolving Muxus, so let's see. It seems like I got a lot of stuff here. So it's so absurd I can hit another Sticker Goblin. No, opponent, don't go! So the Sticker Goblin gives me mana. That mana I can use to go Battlecry Goblin, activate that at least twice, right? And then I just attack for lethal. That's beautiful. That's awesome. So just turn 2 kill out of nowhere. Seems fair. Not really. Not really. Okay. So I like the Furies. I have 3 copies. And I don't like anything else. So I wonder what we're cutting here. Because basically this deck is like a machine, if that makes sense. Maybe this is where I cut like Legion Warboss. Legion Warboss is, you know, like the least impressive of my cards, I would say. Yeah, I wonder what the great Goblin Grandees would do in this, what the Goblin Nobles would do in this spot. But I think that's reasonable. To be honest, I think it has a lot to do with who could. I mean, I killed my opponent turn 2. It's not really reasonable at all. It didn't take any skill, in my opinion. The opponent mulligans. 3 City of Traders, double Muxus. I'm gonna mulligan as well. See what happens. So something I noticed when I looked at this deck that I forgot to talk about is the deck basically starts its mana curve at 3, aside from 2 Battlecry Goblins. That puts an immense amount of pressure on your opening hands. Like here, on the draw, I'm going to go Mountain Go, so my opponent will have 2 turns of play before I do anything, which is, you know, not ideal. Opponent keeps 6 cards. What am I going to bottom here? I'm going to keep this hand. I feel like I should keep... Maybe it's just the Rabble Master. The Rabble Master isn't accomplishing... Like, the aggro plan, I think, is not the most realistic. Turn 1 Cavern. Yes. Okay. I also draw Cavern. I'll play a Mountain because I'm that type of dude. So now I need my opponent to not do what I did to them last game. I don't really know what's going on here. The opponent passes the turn. So, okay. So what does that tell us? The opponent passing the turn there. They wanted to keep a 6, but they don't have a play. The first thing I can think about is either they're like, they have a Spirit Guide, they're 1 land away from going bonkers, or they have like a heavy Fury draw. So now the question becomes, what do I want to do here? I could see like Matron for Sticker Goblin being the play, for the reason that then I kind of ensure my Muxus next turn. Let's try. Matron, go get a Sticker Goblin, and then kind of the issue with this is if my opponent has some kind of instant removal, I kind of give them the notice ahead of schedule that something bad is about to happen. Okay. Let's see if this enters tapped or untapped. Okay, so we're probably going to see the Spirit Guide or Chrome Mox and try and go nuts here. Okay, fingers crossed my opponent gets 5 mana and has to pass the turn. The Sticker Goblin Roulette. Okay, War Boss. We can beat that card. So now I'm even more, you know, concerned about my opponent having Fury. Not really concerned, but more like certain, I would say. Maybe that's the better word. Okay, so let's go. Sticker Goblin. Gain 4 mana. Let's go Sticker Goblin. 5 mana. Let's go Muxus. Float 2 mana. Man, no, maybe wait a minute. Yeah, float 2 mana. That's good. That's a good one. Because I play the Battlecry Goblin. Let's hit some crazy goblins. Oh my god, I hit 2 more stickers? What is going on? Ah, this is absurd. So I already hit the Battlecry Goblin, and now I just made a bunch of mana. I even had a Matron trigger on the stack. I can go get like 1 more Muxus. Give everything haste, attack for like 50. Oh, that was beautiful. What a nice display of the deck. That's a comeback. I was feeling the blues after losing to Oops All Spells, but now I think this deck is the best in the world. All right, let's see if we can keep it up. Don't go anywhere. Okay, round 3. On the draw with Legacy Goblins. This hand looks awesome. I have turn 1 Sticker Goblin into some stuff. It's strange to play with this card because you don't really know what to expect from it. So sometimes you want to like high roll, but that has to do with like the sense of danger, right? Like how much risk are we willing to take? Hmm. I like taking risk with this hand. I have double Spirit Guide. Let's go Sticker. Gain 6 mana. That's awesome. So now I can go Rabble. Then I can go Battle Cry. Then I can activate. And then what happens here? Okay, so I just get an additional 1/1, I guess. Fair enough. This is a lot of pressure, opponent. Trump blocking. Sure. Opponent takes 1,000,000 damage, turn 1. So now I guess they need a Sword Supply Shares to stay in this game. And then I still attack for how much? 6? Yeah. I wonder if I get the 1/1 or I get the 1/1. It's 6 power total. Yeah, 6 power total. For some reason I was reading it was 6 mana aside from Battlecry Goblin. Yeah, just another obscene draw. I go turn 1, attack for 8, and force a chump block. Turn 3, kill your opponent, more or less. I guess turn 4. Unreasonable. So we saw Wasteland, Once Upon a Time, Mother of Runes, Swords to Plowshare. So you don't have to tell me anything else. I think Fury is going to be serviceable against the deck. Not insane, but I think it's going to be serviceable. I wonder what I'm cutting here. I could see like 1 ringleader, 2 bosses, maybe. I still feel like, well, I don't have an educated opinion, but I still feel like the Legion War Boss is like the least important card of the deck. And maybe the grindy aspect isn't top priority in this matchup. I could be wrong about that. Like, cutting a ringleader back in the day would have been unacceptable. Okay, let's see. We're most likely up against Maverick. It's kind of funny that the matchup is like an educated guess. Okay, this hand is most likely pretty obviously a keep. The thing is, if I pitch a land and I aim to go War Boss, I'm like more explosive, but I think I should try and grind here and pitch the Spirit Guide. Is that crazy? Let's see if that's crazy. I pitched a Spirit Guide. I'm getting ready to get Wastelanded. I have the Legion, no, sorry, I have the Fury if things go kind of poorly. That being said, Mother of Runes is very good against Fury, so let's see. Okay, I get Thoughtseized. It makes sense. You want to bring in Thoughtseized when the opponent can do any, like, unfair stuff. But I think this is a decent situation for getting Thoughtseized. I can, like, slowly just make my land drops, and then already now I'm really happy about the Ringleader, so having one on my sideboard, I don't look like the smartest guy, I think. What? The War Boss? That's just, like, something you can just kill, like, 1-for-1? Well, that's okay. So basically, my opponent is delaying my ability to play Magic. Maybe they have, yeah, exactly. Maybe they have a Wasteland, so they can prolong even more. Let's see what this is. Zenith for 1, and since they know I don't have a play for next turn, most likely, that's a good play. Let's draw Ancient Tomb. That would be awesome. I guess, or Sticker Goblin. That's where it gets kind of scary for the opponent. Okay, so now they know about they don't know about Mountain, they don't know about Muxus, they know about Fury and Ringleader, okay? So let's see. Maybe they can go like 5/5 Knight of the Reliquary here, which would be pretty powerful. Okay, Grist is also cool. Yeah, Grist is really annoying. I might have to, like, pitch to Grist. Battlecry Goblin. I'm not sure that card is going to do anything. I think I'm supposed to go pitch, get rid of Grist, play land. Unfortunately, no Ancient Tomb. That would be amazing. So now I'm in a spot where any land lets me Ringleader, and from there, like, getting into, like, Sticker Goblin, Muxus is a possibility, but bad things can definitely happen in the meantime. My opponent had, like, decent tools here, right? Thoughtseize, Wasteland, good Planeswalker. Sometimes that's just all it takes, right? Okay, uncastable Ringleader. I see the point. I see the point. So my opponent's hand must be, like, very removal heavy. Or land heavy, I guess. Let's see if my opponent just drew a relevant card. Oh, okay, Knight. Yeah, now I think I'm entering pretty quickly Sticker Goblin or Bust territory, and Sticker Goblin has to give me 6 mana even. Okay, I'll try and imprint a Ringleader, play another Ringleader, and see if we can high roll a little bit. That is definitely a good start to high rolling. I put double Namesticker Goblin and a Broadside Bombardier into hand. Not gonna attack. And then next turn I go double Sticker, Muxus, fingers crossed, basically. So this game went from there's no way you win this game to so you're saying there's a chance. And we take those. Opponent attacking for 2. Yeah, I wonder what the Knight is gonna set up. Maybe it's gonna set up like Merit Lage over the course of some turns. Sticker. I guess my opponent can have a removal here. That's very important to think about. If my opponent plows it, which they do, or some kind of removal, okay. Then the question becomes, can I take one more turn of, you know, one more turn of beating? Let's see. My opponent goes, sack with Knight, go get whatever. Then the Knight is a 7/7. Fetch land makes it an 8/8. 9/9. I think I can take one more turn, and I'm not supposed to play out this Ancient Tomb. Even though it would be pretty nice. Okay. Yeah, the removal spell countering the Namesticker Goblin is definitely a real drawback to this deck. So now, let's see, what's the chance here? The chance is like a little bit better than 25% that I get to... Yeah, that's not worth it. Okay, let's pass the turn, let my opponent do their thing, and then we try and, you know, go insanely wide and kind of combo. Opponent's on 0 cards in hand. Maze of Ith. Maze of Ith can potentially help my opponent not die to, like, a big Muxus, so I have to go, like, wide, I guess. Once upon a time, opponent finds another knight, which is not, like, the end of the world, because I have to go, like, super wide to win this game. Let's see how well we can hit off of the Muxus. Protection from red makes a ton of sense. Eat off half of my life total. I go to 7, and now it's crunch time. My opponent Maze of Iths. Okay. So, potentially that helps me, but I'm not really sure. So let's see. My opponent can just give protection next turn and swing in, I guess. Maybe there's no reason to take the Ancient Tomb damage. Is that the logic? I just think I'm going to do that regardless this turn, but let's see. Sticker Goblin. 5 mana. Yeah, I'm just supposed to do that now anyway. 1 red floating. Cast Muxus. Reveal top 6. Search for a goblin. So, what can I do here? If I go... I have 1 floating, 1 land, 1 spirit guide. So if I go Sticker Goblin, I need to get 5 mana. If I get 5 mana, I can go Broadside plus Activate. I think I need that in order to win this game. Sticker. Pitch Spirit Guide. Cast Name Sticker. So I need 5 or 6 mana here. Cast Broadside. Give everything haste. And then attack with everything, and I can use the Bombardier to deal, like, a lot of damage. Let's see. I mean, I don't even know if this is lethal. So, send everything in there. Let's see if we can stack this correctly. Muxus on the stack. Rebel Master, Battle Cry. So I get even more stuff, like the Muxus is even bigger. So my opponent's easily going to block that card, but that means I can, like, fling that card and deal 8. Yeah, my opponent needs to block that, and Muxus, and then a random creature. So I can use Bombardier to deal 8. That means my opponent's effectively at 7. So I think my opponent's just dead here, right? Maybe there's... Will my opponent have double... So my opponent's looking to... Huh. I mean, now I'm just going to let the damage happen, right? So they kind of have to do something with the Knight or the Reliquaries. Let's see what that is. Sacrificing a land. So this is just Caracas, I guess? And then I send the Muxus to my opponent's face. Okay, so my opponent takes 8, then takes lethal damage. Okay, there you have it. This deck came from nowhere to just... Yeah, just won the game from nowhere, which is super fascinating. I thought I was just dominated this game. This is the same game where I said, oh, let's just ringleader for good measure and see if we have a shot. That's just super unreasonable. All right, guys. See you for the next one. This is a treat so far. Don't go anywhere. All right. Round 4. I'm on the play with Legacy Goblins, and so far it's been a fun deck to look into for sure. Huh. This hand. So you can play this hand 2 ways. I guess 3. One is like mulligan because it has 5 mana sources, and one of those mana sources forces you to pitch a spell from your hand. That's one way. The other way is I'm gonna go pitch the Bombardier and go turn 1 Rebel Master and make my opponent have a counter or a removal spell, or most likely lose the game in quick fashion. And the other one is, like, the third option is playing this kind of slow and going turn 1 Mountain, turn 2 Goblin, turn 3 Goblin. And I think that's going to be my play. I'm curious if there's any Goblin experts who would either mulligan this hand or say, if you decide to keep this hand, you should go for a fast Rebel Master. But I think, like, these two cards in combination, they're pretty strong. I have a mana base that doesn't care about, like, getting wastelanded or whatever. But I do have a bad Chrome box. Can't really deny that. Just, this hand would be awesome if one of these caverns were random red card. Let's see what we're up against. Scalding Tarn Pass. Well, Scalding Tarn Crack. Basic Island. Delver. Okay. That could be bad news. Battlecry Goblin. Definitely not the worst. Maybe this is actually a situation where I like the Bombardier. And then I can kill off the Delver. I think that's reasonable. Attack. Boast onto the Delver. Sacrifice the worthless Chrome. That's not terrible. Like, build my own Flametongue Kavu. I imagine it's just getting killed by Lightning Bolt, but that's not really something I can worry too much about. So now I can go Cavern and then Rabble Master, meaning the opponent might prioritize Force of Will on this Ponder, if they have the option, or already have a Force of Will. Because when I played the Bombardier out, it wasn't really obvious that it was, like, impactful, because it didn't have the Chrome box in play, right? So now maybe the Cavern can, like, strand cards in my opponent's hand. Muxus. Ooh, that's going to be awesome for later, hopefully. Let's name Goblin, take 2 damage. Play Rebel Master. Attack for 1. So now I'm just a Soul Land / Spirit Guide / the time to develop 2 lands from hardcasting Muxus through counters. Okay, my opponent just has another Lightning Bolt. It happens. Still kind of hope my opponent prioritized Force of Will in that Ponder. Now they shuffle. Let's see if we get wastelanded. We don't get wastelanded. And I draw the Spirit Guide. Beautiful. So I go Goblin, pitch, red, Muxus. Come on, baby. Let's hit some good stuff here on the Goblin Company. I forgot it was like collected company type card. Yeah. Ringleader into double ringleader. I've been grinding my whole life, baby. No hasty guys this time. Oh, ringleader's haste, obviously, and then the goblins from Rabble Master. Okay, perfect. And even the Bombardier. I missed that card. Wow. So yeah, this is just over. So that's so funny. I even missed this card because, well, it got killed, and I don't know, maybe the artwork kind of got me. So basically here, I attack for 4, I attack for 6, and then I can fling the Muxus afterwards, put my opponent to 2. Like, this just has some unreasonable draws. Like, it's really doing everything I was hoping. Like, presenting stuff that my opponent can't come back from, basically. Okay, so against... I only saw... Yeah, blue-red. So the logic from my perspective is, if I have a leyline in play, all I have to worry about is Delver of Secrets, and that card is pretty easy to race. So I like leylines against Delver. It's funny, ever since I played against the Oops All Spells deck, it's felt like I'm the Oops All Spells deck. Which is just pretty funny. Okay, my opponent keeps 7 cards. I'm on the draw. Delver versus Goblins. Classic matchup. I used to play this 15 years ago as well. But these days, the name of the game is so much different. So I have a leyline. I can go turn 1 Cavern. I even have a redundant one in case I get wastelanded. And then I kind of play slowly into the game from there, like Bombardier, Ringleader, Grind, and all that stuff. Okay. Yeah. Beginning with leyline in play hopefully means all I have to do is beat like some 1/1s and a Delver. That's the dream, at least. Please cast a Ponder. That was always the thing back in the day, I remember. When Deathright Shaman was legal in Legacy, and Gretch's Delver played like 4 Delvers, 4 Deathrights, and then whenever the opponent would go turn 1 Ponder, that was just like a sigh of relief every time. Because that's not scary at all compared to, you know, getting the creatures going. And this is kind of the same. So I would imagine my opponent has something like maybe 1 copy of Brazen Borrower or something along those lines. Okay, so they keep digging for maybe a leyline answer, who knows. So while the Channeler is never getting big, or, well, not before leyline is gone at least, it's still like decent card selection. I don't get wasted, which is cool. Opponent draws on Bauble. I draw Chrome Mox. So now I can go Ringleader. Imprint the Battlecry Goblin. How do you feel about that? I like ringleading here. I lead with the Chrome Mox and not the City of Traders because I don't really want to give my opponent the idea that I'm ringleading. Just imagine if I get forced here. Okay, I don't. So let's do that. Let's play City of Traders. Let's ringlead. Just like old times. Goblin Ringleader. Let's see if we can grind our way. Muxus and a Rabble Master. Any order. We can get in for 2 here, which is kind of funny. Goblin Ringleader is dominating Dragon Rage Channeler. So now if the opponent has a Wasteland, what do you even do with that Wasteland? You just saw I had a Muxus. So killing off Cavern could be dangerous, but that's like the better, let's say, long-term. Sprite Dragon. Okay, that's an awesome card that doesn't care about leyline 1 bit. Okay, Sprite Dragon. I like that card. So I have to worry a little bit about closing out this game. So now, funnily enough, if my opponent does not have the land, my Bombardier is removal for Sprite Dragon, which is something I'm very interested in. Another Muxus. Great question. I'm kind of in a strange place here because I really don't want to play the land out. I can't get to Muxus, so I have 2 dead copies. What I can do here is go Bombardier, attack for 4, then kill the Sprite Dragon. Is that good? I don't think I'm going to sacrifice the Chrome Mox, that's the thing. I want to sacrifice the Ringleader in that case. But then it just seems... So I can attack for 4, opponent's at 12. Then I can put my opponent to 6, which, you know, should be awesome. The other line of play is, say, I'm going to race here. I'm going to go Rabblemaster, force my opponent to have a removal. And then next turn, I'm going to Bombardier. Maybe that's better, actually. Okay, I talked myself into a Rabblemaster line. So now my goblins have to attack. I think that's acceptable. Opponent's at 13. I have a Rabblemaster that kind of has to get dealt with. And I have a Bombardier in hand. My opponent knows that I have Muxus, and they know that I didn't, like, develop my mana. They also know that any, like, Soul Land will make me just cast uncounterable Muxus. Okay. So I'm kind of hoping for my opponent to go for some play where the dragon is big enough to kill me over a couple of turns. And then I can kind of punish with the Bombardier, sack Ringleader, deal 6. But maybe that math doesn't really check out because I'm at 17, so it would need to get to, like... Well, maybe, actually. Because... let's say my opponent deals 6 this turn, I'm at 11. No, that's too much. Yeah, well, maybe Lightning Bolt and some other spells next turn. Anyway, I would love for my opponent to attack with the Sprite Dragon this turn, thinking they are taking half of my life total, and then the Bombardier can kind of take care of it. Let's see if my opponent has to land drop. They cast a couple of cantrips. They now have a big Sprite Dragon. And they attack. Okay. So now, yeah, the Bombardier is going to be brutal for the opponent. Opponent draws a card. I find a smashing, which I'm not going to go for right now. So let's go broadside Bombardiers. The question is if I just have straight up lethal, if I clear the Channeler. What if I sack the Goblin token to clear the Channeler, like the newly made Goblin token? Then what? Okay. My opponent's going to daze here. If they can daze twice, they can keep the Sprite Dragon in play. I'm not going to pay here. It doesn't look like the best plan the opponent's got here. But let's see if I'm wrong. Another daze would put Sprite Dragon out of Ringleader range, but that did not happen. Okay. So let's see. What if I... Let's see. So when I attack with Rabblemaster, this is automatically a 3, 4, 5, 6 power creature. And the other tokens get in for 5, so that's not lethal. Okay, so I guess I just kill off the Sprite Dragon this turn. So, attack. Attack with those. Big Rabblemaster. My opponent has to chump block, or the game's over. So I get in for how much? My opponent's at 7, so I can put them to 1. Putting my opponent to 1 sounds awesome, but I can't really... I don't want to die to, like, Volcanic Island double Lightning Bolt. So I'll get rid of the Sprite Dragon. Pass the turn. Now my opponent needs to deal with 2 dangerous creatures and some small guys. I think that's going to be very tough. Because if my opponent has double Lightning Bolt, sure, they kill those guys, but I keep attacking. I draw another Bombardier. I guess I just play that. Uncounterable. I feel like my opponent's had a Forceful in hand all game. And the Cavern of Souls just totally messed with my opponent. Yeah, that's just... like, my opponent found their first removal spell way too late. And the clock they were putting up was, like, it was a good try, right? But it's just so unreasonable that if you don't wasteland this card and you have Force Will in hand, it's just so unlikely that you actually get to emerge victorious. All right, the Goblins deck is doing awesome work. So far we're 3-1. We managed to beat all the decks that weren't Oops All Spells. Let's see if we can close out strong in the 5th one. Don't go anywhere. Okay, 5th and final round of the Legacy League with Goblins. Let's see if we can finish strong here. I've been pretty impressed with this deck. Like, just the ability to win out of nowhere. I think that's pretty awesome. So, what about this opener? I can go imprint, like, I guess Ringleader? Play Smashing, play Battlecry Goblin. Then turn 2 I start playing my good 3-drops. Yeah, I'm supposed to keep this hand. It's not... Excuse me, it's not doing anything broken, but I think I'm supposed to keep this hand. Let's lead on the Chrome Mox. Then I can go turn to most likely Rebel Master and get that going. This card is super hard to evaluate because right now it looks like a pretty embarrassing play. But like on my best draws, it's awesome. There's even a case that I'm supposed to just go tap land pass and then have the intention to imprint this card. Then if I draw another land, I can Ringleader like in a couple of turns. I can't tell you like the impact of this card, this game. It's really hard to evaluate, I feel like. Okay, we have another go against Delver, which is exciting because that's like a deck you need to be able to have a good plan against. Ancient Tomb is an awesome draw. Yes, I go Rebel Master. It's still like the best card to have going. Get in for some damage. So right now, I'm clearly winning the race, but it doesn't take much more than like fold Rebel Master, play like a Channeler or whatever, fly in for 3 to just change that. Okay, so the opponent did not find a flip for Delver on top of the deck, so they stacked Bobble and Delver, quote-unquote, correctly. And they don't flip it, which is good for my chances, I would say. The Bombardier can definitely do good work. I'm excited to see if I get to attack with it. Okay, this looks promising. No removal from my opponent's side, so I get to like hit pretty hard here. I wonder. I don't think my opponent has a Force of Will, because then I don't think the Rebel Master would have happened. So if I draw like a mana source, it's very tempting to like play around Daze and try and smash the 2 creatures. I think I'm actually going to do that if I hit like Land, Spirit Guide, whatever. Chrome Mox is going to be maybe too much. Because I played Battlecry Goblin before my opponent had a land drop. Then I played Rebel Master with 1 mana up. I draw another Rebel Master. Maybe Rebel Masters are just, like, must deal with. Super annoying cards. I'll try. Oh, I messed up there. I was supposed to change from my original plan, where, like, killing my opponent's creatures with this card was even in the conversation. Once this Rebel Master resolved, I should have taken 3 damage from the smashing, and then activated Goblin and attack for 1,000,000. That was not good. Because that way I'm attacking with like 2 absurdly big creatures. Yeah, that was bad. I could have forced like terrible block on my opponent's end there. Oh, well. Okay. That's always something when you're like testing a deck out or whatever. The deck's potential is worth noting, despite me being not good enough to execute it, right? Yeah, that's just even +1/+0, like that's just then I just deal lethal out of nowhere. Wonder if the opponent's considering taking the full damage down to what, like 2 or 3 or something? Okay. Yeah, now I'm embarrassed to play out the smashing here. But that is something that happened. Okay, so now my opponent has to kill both Rebel Masters and not die to the Bombardier next turn, which I think is impossible. That could be my famous last words. So, thankfully, I think this is going to end happily, but yeah, I'm sad I missed that. If I just play that land out, activate the Goblin, the Battlecry Goblin, it's just going to be like landslide. Another brutal draw. Okay, so Leyline of the Void for Legion War Boss. I'm not entirely convinced, but because there are some games where that get kind of scrappy, like kill your sticker goblin, leave you with stranded Muxus in hand, wasteland you a couple of times, I mulligan to 5, or like low resource games where I can see the value of the war boss. I'm actually pretty curious if you're supposed to like bring out Muxus, play like Magus of the Moon against that deck, something along those lines. I'm not really sure. I'll have to look into this archetype. I actually think it's kind of cool. I feel like I wanna play this deck more. It's definitely once you like get to 3 mana and start playing things, it's good. But I feel like the fact that you can't like on the draw, if you don't have a play turn 1, it just feels so bad, like Mountain Pass. And then your name sticker goblin is trying to like compensate for that by enabling crazy stuff, I guess. That's really like so I take 1 turn off, but then this card kind of compensates for that in a big way. Talking about compensating in a big way, let's try and evaluate this opening hand. So we have all the mana in the world, but we don't have anything to use it for. Our hand can get wasteland, and that's fine. We don't care about that. But let's say our opponent goes turn 1 Chandler, turn 1 Delver, something along those lines. Then all of a sudden the clock is kind of ticking. So let's say the hand had like Cavern instead of a Chrome Mox, or like already like Muxus or whatever, then it would be a lot better. I'm gonna try and keep this hand because while I think it might be bad, I'm also curious to see, just have like a sample size of 1 on how well does like let's say 2 or 3 draw steps perform in this deck. Obviously, that's not what you want to see. The Gemstone Caverns is the draw. Like, is it reasonable? Because if I draw like Matron, Ringleader, Muxus, Rabble Master, Bombardier, like if I draw a couple of those cards in combination, like a couple of draws in a row, I feel like I'm right back in it. Opponent reveals a daze. And the clock is already ticking. Wasteland, that's one of the draws I was okay, this this is just terrible. Wasteland was one of the draws I was hoping to like hope my opponent would prioritize and then kind of benefit from the fact that it doesn't do anything, but here it doesn't really look like it's gonna matter. I think I just play my Gemstone Caverns out. Keeping double Chrome Box, drawing the third one doesn't exactly make me look great here, right? Also, the fact that a card like Hydroblast has risen in popularity, I think that's a big problem for this deck. So this is also always something I'm super interested in, like the splash damage. I love that word. It's like, let's say Dredge is making a splash, then people start playing more ley lines, and then if you play a deck that is bad against ley line, that's gonna hurt you, right? I think that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool concept. So, maybe I'm supposed to go like Sticker Goblin, pay for days, and then hope I can get like a good smashing here. Yeah, I think that's like my only way to win this game. Pay for days, get 5 or 6 mana, and then kill the 2 creatures. I'll pay. Yes, please. Sticker Goblin. 5 or 6, baby. Okay. So now let's see if I can cast this card. 2, 1. Done. Hammer, 5 mana. Okay, so that worked. Yeah, so while that is obviously a great value play, so to speak, it's just not changing the fact that I'm not going anywhere with 3 chromes here. So I still need like a serious draw. Okay, that's not terrible. The cavern is not terrible. I wonder if I should. Yeah, I should probably like build my way. Sticker Goblin getting in there. So a way to make these chrome marks relevant this game is the Bombardier, but I mean, my opponent will easily be sitting on a removal spell here. Here's just some small sequencing thing. So I like playing my Brainstorm first, because there can be a combination of cards where, oh, I like all of these cards, so I don't need to shuffle. But maybe I want to wasteland my opponent's Ancient Tomb to not get, like, Moxost or whatever. So it's just like a small sequencing thing where if you wait playing your land, it's just slightly better, right? It leaves you open for more options. But obviously, one can argue that taking 3 damage and activating your Battlecry Goblin for the win is also a good play. But we're here to learn, so it doesn't make me or my opponent any lesser of a Magic player. It's just pointing out like more optimal ways to play Magic, which should be the case whenever you play, in my opinion. Like I'm playing this Goblins deck to learn more about the deck, and sometimes making a mistake makes you more likely to learn from it, which is also something I'm trying to challenge from time to time. I'm also interested in why did you win and not just why did I lose. That being said, I draw Cavern, so I think I'm supposed to go uncounterable Bombardier, and then I'm actually going to fling a Chrome Box on my opponent's face here. I put my opponent down to 11. I kind of forced them to have a removal spell for the Bombardier. That card is sometimes just unreasonable. So let's fling that, since I have, plenty more. Not gonna imprint, obviously. My opponent's at 11, which is a long way to go. But if the Bombardier stays in play, it's not really a long way to go, so I guess I'm just forcing my opponent to have a Lightning Bolt here. Or Hydroblast, I guess. Yeah, this has been a fun time playing this deck. Some decks are more fun than others. Let me put it that way. Like, I love all kinds of Magic, but yeah, it's just like you go to a candy store, you have some favorites, right? Okay, Murktide hits the field, so no removal. Nice Leyline of the Void. I think the plan is just swing with prowess creature. Fling another... Well, maybe this is time to just fling the sticker goblin. Put my opponent at what? Put my opponent at 4? Put my opponent at 4. Is that how I want to play? I'm actually going to go for just putting my opponent to 7. Tough call. Opponent's at 7 life. I'm not going to imprint for the sacrificed Chrome Mox. So now, unless my opponent impacts the board, I have lethal. 2 damage from the attacker. 5 damage for the fling. My opponent's attacking, so it's not good news. Let's see if they have a removal spell, which is like highly likely that they do. Awesome card. Rough Tumble. That's a good one from the past. So 2 damage to each creature without flying. That would be my guys. So my opponent has lethal next turn, and I need a miraculous draw here. Muxus. Is that a miraculous draw? I think it is. So I go Chrome Mox. Well, it's potentially a miraculous draw. Pitch Leyline. Uncounterable, por favor. Muxus. So I need to hit like Sticker Goblin and the Haste Goblin. Can we do it? We cannot do it. I get a 1/1. An attack for 1. My opponent kills me dead with Murktide. Okay. That was a cool one. Got a little sweat there in the end. Excuse me. Alright, last game. Muxus just seems like a pipe dream. Like, I was so lucky to get to cast one. But the combo of Sticker Goblin and Muxus is just unreasonable. What happens if I Blood Moon my opponent? Then maybe that card just gets Lightning Bolted, I guess. It's not actually a Blood Moon, it's a Magus, so... I wonder if I'm supposed to go... I really want to try this. If I have the time, because I already submitted. I'm gonna go Legion Warboss over Muxus. I'm gonna go low to the ground. Because I feel like the game is gonna be very scrappy. And see where that takes me. Alright, the last opening hand of the day. This is round 5. I've really enjoyed playing red Stompy Goblins in Legacy. This is what it comes down to. I have a turn 2 Sticker Goblin uncounterable, and then I can try and explode from there. I'll say yes to that. The smashing is leaving me open to Wasteland, rather, which is not my favorite thing in the world, but I think it's okay. So this is another spot where I'm begging for my opponent to have a ponder and not like Wasteland or whatever. Okay, Delver is in fact the play. Goblin. Let's see if we can do awesome things with name Sticker Goblin. Four mana. Yeah, that's really not good. I'm gonna Ringleader into more stuff. Okay. Yeah, that's really not ideal. I could even have gotten, like, Dazed or whatever there, but we didn't. I'll attack for 2. My opponent is trying to do a good job with Bauble and Delver, stacking triggers once more. Okay, so now we kind of see the, let's say, the other side of the coin, right? It's like, okay, my hand is full of goblins, but it's just 1 Wasteland, and I'm in a super bad spot. Like, this is super high variance. If I get Wastelanded, not very nice. If I don't get wastelanded and I draw like whatever, Ancient Tomb, something along those lines, then all of a sudden I'm in the driver's seat and then some. It's super high variance. Cavern is gone. Another creature hits the field. Ancient Tomb? City? Cavern. Okay. I'll name Goblin. Attack for 4. And then when you pass the turn here, like the Delver player is gonna know exactly like what's the name of this game. The name of this game is I don't have the means to cast my stuff, but if I get the means to cast my stuff, my opponent is most likely gonna be in trouble. So it's pretty obvious now what this game is about. The opponent is correctly here playing Cantrip first, looking for Wasteland, because at this stage, Wasteland will like put them firmly in the driver's seat. The Channeler is even going to a 3/3 here, so the opponent is clocking away. Looks like my opponent does not have a land drop. Is that correct? Yeah, no land drop, and I draw the City of Traders. Wow. Huh. Okay, so it's time here. It's definitely time. I'm supposed to go Sticker Goblin, and I have to note that whichever Goblin I'm playing after this Sticker Goblin, that is something that's counterable. So let's see. 5 mana, pretty good hit. We take that. So let's see. I can go Bombardier, most likely get forced. Then Legion Warboss. I think I like that. Could get dazed this turn, but that's just how it is sometimes. Yeah, my opponent is forcing the Bombardier, then I play Warboss. And I might get dazed, actually. Which is probably gonna mean I'm dead. Okay. Mentor. Get a 1/1. Attack for 5. Do I have lethal for next turn? I do have lethal. Okay. So my opponent would need, like, if they just attack in the air for 6 and play a blocker, I think I'm out of luck. Well, maybe not. Let's see. No, that's not enough. Okay, so my opponent can attack in the air with 1. I'm thinking about my opponent playing Murktide Regent here, especially since they just pitched it. But okay, that's not going to be the case. My opponent's still on 1 land, which is kind of unfortunate. Opponent shuffles after Ponder. There's the second land. The Chandler has to attack, which is kind of good news for me. So I think if my opponent has a removal spell, let's see, they kill the War Boss, they block, and then they only take 5 damage. Let's see. Another Delver, okay. Rabblemaster. Huh. Rabblemaster, I think, is like the card that's forcing through the most damage. Let's try with Rabblemaster. Uncounterable Rabblemaster. And now I don't really want to do the math. Okay, the opponent conceded there, so let's see. Rabblemaster makes me a 1/1. Legion Warboss makes me a 1/1. I turn one of those 1/1s into a 2/2. So I'm attacking for 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Plus the 1/1 from Warboss, plus the 1/1 from Rabblemaster. Opponent can block 2 2/2s. That takes that out of the equation, that out of the equation. So then the opponent takes 2, 4, 5, 6, and exactly 7. Okay, so we exactly got there. We managed to do an awesome 4/1 result here with Mono Red Goblins, losing round 1 to Oops All Spells, I think, and then playing against 4 fair-ish decks. I think that's pretty reasonable spread of matchups. And if this deck is just, you know, a good fair deck, and you play against fair decks 80% of the time, let's just for the sake of argument say that's the case, then this could be an awesome choice. I've seen versions with like Chalice of the Void, etc., and I'm not really sure about my current sideboard, but overall I really enjoyed it. Also just because like new interactions came up and how to sequence your lands and how to like try and guard yourself a little bit against the fail rate of Namestick or Goblin, when you kind of have to check your luck and when you want to play a bit more conservatively. Like, I think this league showcased a lot of that this deck has a lot of play to it. And I hope you enjoyed it. As always, thank you so much for watching. It means a lot to me. And I'll see you in the future for even more sweet Legacy. Bye, guys.